Alright, I'll be doing a video today about the new Beretta M9A3. This is the newest version of the M9 pistol, and the M9 is based on the Beretta 92 series pistols. This one has some changes and updates and enhancements over the other M9 versions and the 92. One of the first being is that the newer production pistols have started using polymer components for a few pieces, trigger, safety, things like that. This one has all metal components rather than the polymer components, except for the guide rod, which is polymer, but that doesn't bother me. It's a low stress part, and polymer guide rods have been around a while and no problems with those. So what did they do to enhance it and update it over the other pistols? Well, one, it has a threaded barrel and comes with a thread protector. Another thing they did, the front sight is now dovetailed into place rather than being a part of the frame, meaning it is very easy to replace your front sights and back sights now. You could not replace the front sight before, but I don't see why you would need to anytime soon. It does come with a set of Trigicons, the HD sights, where the front sight is a white dot and the rear is kind of blacked out, but it is night sight, so it does have tritium vials on the rear and the front, so it acts during the day a bit like a single dot front dot and a 3 dot at night, and the front dot really being bright like that kind of accentuates it and helps you focus on it easier. Something else they've done is added a 1913 rail on the front of the pistol here, on the dust cover, and they've squared off the trigger guard here so accessories will butt up nice and flush. The magazine release is extended. It is reversible, so it is now a little bit easier to use and more lefty friendly. The pistol is ambidextrous with the safety and the mag release, because the mag release can be changed, but the slide stop wheel is not located on both sides, nor can it be swapped to the other side. Other things they've done is they've added some very nice checkering here on the front and back. That's very nice. And they are using the Vertec frame rather than the standard frame. The Vertec frame has a flat backstrap here rather than having the humped backstrap of the original version, and they trim up the overall size of the grip to make it more friendly to people with small hands or short fingers, such as myself. If you are a fan of the old style, you have larger hands, it does include with the pistol a set of Hogue-made wraparound rubberized grips with the Beretta logo on it. The wraparound part here adds the hump back to the pistol, and the side plates are a little thicker to add a little bit more girth overall for people who wish to have a larger grip. Me, I find it comfortable. It feels nice in the hand, but its trigger reach is more difficult in double action mode, and I just prefer the trimmer grip. It would be nice if these plastic panels were rubberized, but the texturing is sufficient and it doesn't need to be. It's just a personal preference. Something else they've done is it comes with 3 magazines instead of 2. They are 17 rounders rather than the standard 15, and they are PVD coated with a material that is anti-friction inside and out. And what that does is, in sandy environments or environments with a lot of particulate in the air, that stuff can work its way into a magazine and bind up the follower. The coating helps prevent that from happening. It allows the follower to function even if it gets a little grime and particles inside of it. And being on the outside, if it gets it on the outside, it still inserts nice and smooth into the magazine well. So those are very nice. It does come in a very interesting little box here. It comes with a ammo box style box to carry in. The pistol sits vertically in the box, and it has this little foam here to hold it down into place, and it has cutouts for everything that it comes with. And in there you would find your instruction manuals and things like that. No spent casing, but I think the law that I think 1 or 2 states had the law, and the final state that had it, the law lapsed, so it's no longer required. Now, other things it has a new finish style on it. Instead of being black, it has a Cerakote flat dark earth slide and barrel. The frame is anodized, a bronzish kind of a greenish bronze color, so it doesn't quite match the tan. So it kind of has a bit of a two-tone look. Now, something that they've done that not a lot of people talk about is the safety. Now, they'll talk about the fact that the new safety can be easily swapped with a decocker only version, because they have made some changes to the internals of the slide to allow that. And I will be sourcing a decocker only lever as soon as I can to swap over, because I like decock only. I do not wish to have a safety. I'll go over to the whys here later. Now, the thing that I really like that nobody seems to talk about is they did a redesign of the safety just a bit. If you look at this side, it's easiest to see here. You can see it here as well, but it's more prominent here. Relative to the slide, there's a slight upward angle to the safety lever. Both sides are like this. Now, the original style sat like this, in line, straight with the frame, or the slide. Now, people complained that if you had a malfunction or otherwise needed to rack the slide quickly, when you would grab the slide to pull it back, you could grab here and go to rack, and then you would have engaged the safety by mistake. Inadvertently, with the safety inadvertently engaged, you now have a dead trigger. So if you had a malfunction or anything and you try to clear it, you've now fixed the malfunction and now introduced another little wrinkle to it. So you have to figure out that you needed to flip the safety. People didn't like that. So what Beretta has done is add that little upward sweep. What that does is when you grab this thing, if you accidentally slide back here, I don't feel at any point in time that I'm going to accidentally engage that. It actually feels like it enhances my grip, because if I slide back, it's just something to grab onto and helps me rack the slide. And I don't feel like it's going to accidentally engage the safety. I'm sure it's still possible. I mean, it is possible, but they've done something to help reduce the chance a lot. And it's a really big thing for some people. Now, for me, I only want a decocker only, because while I would carry it with the safety off and it decocked, I can't trust that the safety would stay off while I'm carrying it. I probably never would, but if I ever chose to, that's the way I like it. I don't want to have to worry about a safety accidentally engaging. And this safety, due to my shorter fingers and thumbs, just does not feel comfortable. I've practiced, tried from a draw, and just sitting here, it just does not feel right. I can't get a good purchase on it to do it quickly and easily. So that's why I want a decocker only. So, disassembly. Much like other pistols, you're going to lock it back. You're going to check that it is empty and clear. You can leave it locked back like this, or you can set the slide forward. It doesn't really matter, but there is a button here that you have to push that releases your takedown lever so it can be rotated. You then rotate the slide, and the slide, or rotate the lever, and then the slide will come right off. Now, I have about 300 rounds of this thing, and for the first 500 rounds through a pistol, I like to use a good grease. And on my SIGs and some of the things, I do use grease, but I use it more liberally for a newer pistol, so the break-in of the parts happens smoothly without any galling or any issues. So that's why you notice all that grease. Still new pistol. Now, the recoil spring guide rod are not captured. They are separate pieces. It is polymer, as I mentioned, but that does not bother me. If you're familiar with these pistols, you know it uses a locking block rather than a cammed barrel that locks into the slide. So it doesn't reassemble and disassemble is quite the same. So keep that in mind. When you go to put the barrel and everything back into place, the locking block has to be down, fully down. And the guide rod must be centered. If you don't follow that, it will not go back onto the frame at all. Now, the finish is a Cerakote flat dark earth and anodized for the lower receiver here, or the frame. Now, I've had a little bit of issue, even though it only has about 300 rounds through it, where the slide stop rides, there is some significant wear right here on the finish. And the finish, the slide looks to be a stainless steel, but it isn't finished in any kind of nitriding process or anything like that underneath it, so it's bare steel underneath. It shouldn't be a problem with rusting, but my other SIG my 226, that's a Scorpion model, has Cerakote, and I do not see any finish wear on it at all, hardly. So it's a little concerning that it's coming off. Maybe it's just my particular pistol, or maybe it's indicative of all of them, but I find that unfortunate. And it's not just there, it's some finish wear here as well, where the disconnector will be riding. So, or actually, this is where the disconnector rides here, the slide stop rides here. Sorry, I had that backwards. But there's finish wear on both sides. So, that's unfortunate. But it's not too big of a deal. Now, you rotate the lever back in place. Now, function check. And we're good. So, I did have another issue with this thing. Brand new out of the box. After I cleaned it up and lubed it up a bit, took it to the range, fired about 100 rounds through it, trigger pin started walking. Started coming out. And I noticed it before it fell out completely and pushed it back in place and then contacted Beretta. Well, before I did that, I found what the problem was. Now, the pin is held in place by a dog leg that comes off of the slide stop spring. The spring that holds the slide stop into the down position has a little dog leg that hooks down and goes through a little hole in the frame, and then the dog leg will sit in front of the pin and prevent it from coming out. Well, when I looked in there, I saw that the dog leg portion of the spring was not in the little hole in the frame. So I thought, no big deal, I will just pop it into place. Well, unfortunately, that was a no-go. It would not go into place at all. Turns out the spring was either the incorrect spring or it was improperly made. It was too short. You couldn't fit the little dog leg into the hole in the frame and have it fit properly on the slide stop. It just could not happen. So I had to call Beretta. To their credit, they very quickly sent out a replacement spring, and I popped that into place. I cursed at it a little bit because I really wish I had 3 hands, but I got it into place. and now everything is fine. I took it and fired a couple hundred more rounds through it at the range with no problems. So that's unfortunate that happened, but ultimately it was a minor issue that was quickly resolved. Overall, the pistol is very accurate. I like the accuracy of it. It feels a bit like the recoil. It feels a bit like it rotates in the hand a bit more than other pistols I own, even compared to my 226. Maybe it's because of the change to the Vertec frame, because I don't remember the other Beretta pistols I fired having that same feel to them. But it is very smooth shooting, very accurate, very smooth. Recoil feels very nice. Trigger pull is very good. They use a different spring over the other ones that lightens the trigger pull a good bit. I think it's like about an 8-pound double action, maybe a 9-pound, and the single action was like 4 pounds when I tested it on my meter. It is an excellently smooth trigger, very nice double action, single action pistol trigger. So this pistol, they did a really good job on it. Now, it does have a price premium over other 92 and M9 models. This cost right at $1,000, and other Beretta pistols can be had for around $600 to $700 depending on the model and the features it has on it. So you're paying a bit of a premium for the cool factor, I guess. But you do get a nice set of sights on it that don't come on the standard models. So overall, I really like the pistol. I wanted an M9, but I wanted a Vertec frame. And when they announced this model, this is the version I said I had to have. So I went ahead and picked it up. Minor issues with the finish and the trigger pin aside, I like the pistol a lot. It's very comfortable, very accurate, very good pistol. So there you go. If you're looking for these features in an M9, you've been looking for a Beretta pistol, then this is an excellent version to pick up.